Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make Brown Butter Pistachio Blondies. Yes, they are just as amazing as they sound with that toasty, nutty brown butter goodness and pistachios, which are all the rage. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees and we're gonna lightly grease a 9x9 pan and line it with parchment paper. The grease helps the parchment paper stick to the pan so you can find those folds without making the blondies greasy. And we'll set that aside, grab a small baking pan, and we're gonna lay out 3/4 cup of pistachios. These are salted pistachios because it's actually really hard to find unsalted pistachios, so the recipe is designed accordingly. We're gonna toast these in the 350-degree oven for just 5 to 7 minutes. While those are toasting, we're gonna brown our butter. To do that, we're gonna melt 10 tablespoons of butter in a saucepan over medium heat. Give it an occasional swirl or stir, and we're gonna let this continue cooking until it foams. Let's take a quick look here. You can see that foam. That's your signal to watch it closely because it's gonna start to brown. Once it's golden brown, transfer it to a mixing bowl to let it cool slightly. Just watch it closely because it can go from golden brown to burnt real fast. After a couple minutes of cooling, you're gonna add in 1 cup of brown sugar. And we're gonna whisk this in with our browned butter. Once the sugar is dissolved in the butter, we're gonna add in 2 large eggs and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Whisk this until it's nice and smooth and shiny. It takes a solid minute of whisking vigorously to make it nice and glossy, just like this. This step right here is what gives you your shiny, crackly crust on top of your blondies or brownies. In brownies, it's a little more pronounced, but in blondies, you still want to go for the same thing. Next, we need to melt 1/2 cup of white chocolate chips, and I always do this in a liquid measuring cup. Melt in the microwave in 30-second increments until smooth. Then we'll just pour this in with our batter, and then we'll whisk it in until it's also smooth, which goes really quick. Then we'll switch to a rubber spatula and stir in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Grab those toasted nuts, which should be cooled by this point, and give them a rough chop. You can go as small of pieces as you want or leave them larger if you like the crunch. I'm gonna fold most of it into the batter, but I am gonna reserve about 1/4 cup for sprinkling on top. Fold it in gently, and then you should have your finished batter. Then we can transfer this to our prepared 9x9 pan. Be sure to spread it into the corners so that you have a fairly even layer and the oven will even out the rest. Take those pistachios you set aside and sprinkle them over the top. All that's left to do is bake these in the 350-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. As hard as it is to wait, you'll want to let them cool in the pan for at least 30 minutes before slicing into them. If you're feeling extra bougie, you can sprinkle on some sea salt flakes. Totally optional, of course. You don't need to go out and buy flaked salt if it's something that you never use. This is just great for those who like a little salty and sweet. They're delicious plain, but if you're feeling extra, you can add on a scoop of vanilla ice cream and drizzle it with caramel sauce. Thanks for watching. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and check out the rest of my videos where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. We'll see you later.